um, ano ba mga ine-expect natin dito? So yun, ine-expect natin na full screen. Sige, full screen natin. Ayun. So yan, hopefully kita na. So yun, ano bang gagawin natin dito? So, sa workshop na 'to, magse-set up tayo ng MetaMask wallet natin and then, ifo-fund natin or kukuha tayo ng mga test, Ethereum, currency sa sinet up natin na MetaMask wallet and then, related din 'to dun sa hiningi namin earlier na, wallet address niyo para mabigyan namin kayo automatically. Pero kung hindi kayo nakapag-fill out dun sa form, okey lang. So, puwede nating pasadahan later kung paano yung step by step to do that. And then next is, yun magkakaroon tayo ng overview and, actual, uh, playing around our Remix IDE. And last is kung paano mag-create, mag-deploy ng, smart contract natin sa Ethereum network. So at this moment, so magde-deploy lang muna tayo sa test network natin sa Ethereum. So same lang din. So, in Ethereum environment, meron din tayong test and production environment na hindi nagkakaiba naman sa kagawian nating, traditional web development or software development. And, next yun, so nabanggit nga din ni David sa mga previous announcements natin na, meron tayong prerequisites which is, yun yung Remix IDE natin. So Remix IDE, so isipin niyo siya na as a VS Code on web but, ang main, job niya is code editor and then compiler as in full stack, web tool in developing, testing, and deploying smart contracts. And MetaMask, so MetaMask will be our Web3 provider. So kapag sinabi nating Web3 provider, siya yung magiging bridge natin from our front-end application going to the blockchain. So basically, ibi-bridge niya yung interaction natin from submitting a data or fetching a data, something like that. And then other than that, ginagamit din yung MetaMask as a digital wallet or cryptocurrency wallet. So yun, I think familiar yung mga iba into on this wallet. And then next is Sepolia Test Ethereum. So ito na yung sinasabi nating test currency kanina na hiningi namin yung wallet address nyo para ma-fund natin yung wallets nyo. Pero kung hindi pa kayo nakapag-fill out doon, okay lang? Alright. So before tayo mag-proceed, meron ba may questions? Right? Or wala pa naman, no? Pero if ever na meron, so drop nyo lang sa chat box natin yung questions. Then later on, we'll try to accommodate that. Okay. Okay. So next slide. Yun. So ano ba i-build natin ngayon? So ang i-build natin ngayon is gagawa tayo ng very simple smart contract lang and then ang objective niya is um, store tayo ng message sa blockchain. So kapag sinabi nating store, magko-compose tayo ng any message but yung message na yon is somehow na parang gratitude message niyo. So, like for example, meron kayong friend or someone in the community or family member na gusto niyong pagpasalamatan or gusto niyong bigyan ng message or anything. So, pwede natin i-encode yan and then i-save sa blockchain. And at the same time, since na-save natin yan sa blockchain, pwede nating ma-retrieve yung message na yon and not only us but also the entire internet will be able to get that message. So pwede nyo ring i-send later on yung message na yun do sa specific person na pinagbigyan nyo ng message. So yun lang. And then yun, at the same time, so ano ba yung mali-learn natin kapag ginawa natin yung smart contract message na yun? So number one is yung pag-setup ng MetaMask and then yung pag-fund ng mga MetaMask wallet natin and then yung playing around with the Remix IDE and building your smart contract as well as mga basic Solidity commands or syntax. Alright? So, yun. And ayun, so ito lang yung QR code natin para dun sa ah, pag ah, mag-request ng test Ethereum. So, scan nyo lang yan. Then, kung meron na kayong existing MetaMask wallet is paste nyo lang doon sa Google Sheet natin yung wallet address. Then, later on, we will send funds do sa mga wallet address nyo. Pero kung wala, as an alternative, pwede tayong pumunta dito sa Chainlink Faucet or madami pa actually ibang mga test faucet within the blockchain world. And yun, pwede nyo siya i-try. And yun, tara code na tayo. Pero before yan, since yung iba dito siguro is hindi nakahanap ng time earlier para i-set up yung MetaMask nila and then humingi ng test Ethereum. So yun, pwede tayong quick walkthrough lang kung paano i-set up yung MetaMask wallet natin. So yun, punta lang tayo dito sa website ng MetaMask. So that is metamask.io and then yun, meron na ditong download link. So download lang natin tong web extension na to. Okay, so pwede nyo akong sabayan. And kung may mga question kayo, drop nyo lang din. So, yan. After ng setup natin is, yan. We'll try to look at that. Okay. So, mukhang downloaded na siya. Ayun. So, once downloaded, kailangan nyo lang din i-enable siya para nakapin siya dito sa inyong, ba to? Address bar. Yun. And yun, for the very first time na mag-set up kayo ng MetaMask, makikita nyo tong screen na to. And yun, makikita nyo nagpa-follow yung Fox. Fox ba to? Ayun, sa cursor nyo and click agree lang and create a new wallet. So kung may existing kayo, pwede nyo gamitin yan but for the sake of everyone na wala pa, so click lang natin yung create a new wallet and then ayun, kahit hindi nyo na-check yan, click agree lang and kailangan nyo lang gumawa ng password. So any password naman will do. Okay. Okay, so pero check ko lang, kita niyo naman yung screen ko 'no? Okay. So puwede bang ano, um, chat lang kayo ng any emoji kung nakikita niyo naman yung screen ko? Doon kita. Thank you Sir Mike, Sir Cortezano, Jestric, thank you, and Sais. So yun, lang tayo ng password dito and tandaan niyo lang 'to kahit, later on every time na mag-o-open kayo ng MetaMask or mag-time out siya, hihingi siya ng, password. Then create new wallet and click niyo lang 'tong secure my wallet. Okay. So very best practice. So secure my wallet lalo na kung, plano niyo na in the long run gamitin na 'tong, MetaMask wallet na 'to sa mga Web3 transactions niyo. So secure my wallet and mapapansin niyo dito merong naka-mask na data pero for the sake of tutorial so i-reveal ko na lang din 'to and oh sorry hindi ko na save. Pwede ba mag-back? Ayun. So reveal and pwede niyo siya i-copy and save niyo lang sa notepad kasi merong verification dito later. Um, okay, save ko lang. So yan, tandaan niyo lang yung pagkakasunod-sunod and click next. And yun, sabi dito, kailangan lang natin i-fill out kung ano yung mga pagkakasunod-sunod um, ng mga words. So recover phrase yung tawag sa kanya. So number 3 which is Olympic, yun, mapapanahon. And then next sa Olympic is clump. Okay. And ano ba yung number 8 ko? Shrub. So lawn. So, yun. So, if ever tama naman yung seed phrase na ginawa natin. So yun, confirm lang and then click got it, next, and done. And yun, enable lang natin and yun. Once everything is okay na, makikita nyo yung page na 'to. So, meron dito account number 1, then ito yung wallet address nyo, and ito yung mismong laman ng Ethereum fund nyo, and yung katumbas na USD nun. Pero since naka-Ethereum mainnet tayo, so kapag sinabi natin Ethereum mainnet, ito yung nagsiserve as production site or production server ng MetaMask. Pero for the sake of tutorial, enable lang natin itong test network and then choose Sepolia. Okay. So yun. So napili ko na yung Sepolia and yun. Hopefully ganun din yung iba na nakapag-switch na kayo to test network and click Sepolia. Pero yun, hopefully naka-follow yung iba, pero meron bang may mga concerns or questions? Chat nyo lang. Ayun. So far, wala naman. Okay. So yun, sabi ni Isabel, so secret recover phrase, keep it super safe. Yun, tama. So yun, lalo na kung gagamitin nyo siya in the future as mismong store of value nyo or pag-i-storean nyo siya ng mga Web3 assets. So yun, mukhang naka-follow naman lahat and dito sa spreadsheet natin, wala namang new new wallet address. So lahat naman is nabigyan na dito. Pero kung hindi pa, pwede tayong pumunta dito sa Chainlink faucet na binigay natin kanina. And ang kanyang address is here, faucets.chain.link. So puntahan natin, which is ito. And then connect lang natin yung wallet natin. Just click this checkbox and then choose MetaMask. And yun, mau-auto-detect na ng site na to yung wallet natin since isa lang naman currently yung address natin. So choose na natin yan, then click next and confirm. So yun. And then once connected na, makikita nyo rin na meron ditong yung mismong wallet address nyo is nakalagay dito sa upper right side ng nav bar. And then meron din message na connected to MetaMask. And then make sure nyo lang na yung address dito is naka-Ethereum Sepolia. Pero by default, I think ito na yung naka-selected. Okay. So wala namang question. Okay, sige. Proceed lang tayo. And then, yun. If all goes well na, connected na, so click lang natin tong Ethereum Sepolia. Yan, yung box na to, or checkbox. And then, click continue. And, yun, make sure lang natin na tama yung address na nakalagay dito na nagmamatch siya sa wallet address natin. Got it. Close natin to. Which is 76B. And ang dulo niya is 76B naman. Tama. And yun pala, meron palang option dito. I think required to connect GitHub. Pero click na lang natin. Yun. And then, yun. So, yung mga hindi pa nakalagin ng GitHub, so I think kailangan yung ilagin muna yung GitHub. So, pero if ever na wala pa kayong GitHub account, paste nyo lang dito sa spreadsheet na to yung wallet address nyo. Then, yeah, papasahan namin kayo. Okay? So, yun. Once connected, so click get tokens lang. And yun, nag-failed sa akin kasi I think nakagawa na ako naka-request na ako kanina sa ibang wallet. So, yun pala guys, dinedetect na yung IP address natin. So, yun, way din ng Chainlink para malimit yung pag-supply nila ng Ethereum. So, naka-whitelist yung IP address natin. Pero in the meantime, so papasahan ko na lang manually itong wallet na to. And, to do that, sige, share lang ako ng another screen. Hmm, ayun. So, nag-switch lang ako dito sa screen na 'to. So, ito yung, wallet namin sa DevUp na merong, yun, meron siyang 0.74 na Ethereum. So, ang gagawin ko is papasahan ko yung, bagong gawa natin na wallet address. So, kinokopya ko lang ngayon yung wallet address na yun and then click send and paste ko lang 'to dito and, magpapasa lang ako ng 0.1 Ethereum and, super enough na 'to para, magawa yung smart contract, exercise natin. Then click next, then confirm ko lang. So yun. So parang isipin niyo na lang, since wallet siya, parang GCash na puwede tayong mag-send ng, funds from your contacts from one wallet address to another. And, yun. So yun, completed na yung transaction and puwede ko ma-verify yan dito. So yan, maglo-loading lang siya pero, switch ko lang ulit yung screen ko sa kabila para ma-verify natin na nabigyan ng fund. Okey, yun, success kay Sir Gian, yun, congrats. Okey, and then, dito naman sa kabila, close ko na 'to. So kapag chineck ko ngayon yung MetaMask, window ko, yun, makikita ko na meron na akong 0.1 Sequoia Ethereum and, yung activity na yun puwede nating makita dito sa parang, transaction page, sa activity tab na 'to. So, it says na naka-receive ako ng fund from gan'tong address going to me and the amount is, nasaan na yun? Eto, total. And yun, so hopefully, naka-follow naman yung lahat sa instructions, pero kung hindi, so ayun, may rumor daw. Merong price from zero. Nice. So yun, sabi dun sa chat natin, so may rumor lang, na may price daw from zero yung mga makaka-follow ng instructions. Alright, so yun, kaya follow lang tayo team, and yun. So balik tayo dito sa slide natin and yun, so nagawa na natin yung mga prerequisite steps. So meron na tayong MetaMask wallet and then, na-fund na rin natin yung ginawa nating wallet na yun and then, next pala is puntahan lang muna natin yung Ethereum, yung Remix IDE. So Remix IDE is ito yung address niya, remix.ethereum.org. So, paste ko lang din dito, 'yan. So, 'yan. So, kapag pinuntahan niyo yung, Remix, website, so makikita niyo yung homepage nila, eto. So, and then, by default, kung mapapansin niyo meron ng mga naka-preset up na folders dito, merong contracts, scripts, and test. And then, other, mga folders pa like dependency. So, meron ding npm dito kasi, yun super powerful ng Remix, na puwede tayong mag-set up ng mga or mag-call ng mga npm dependencies. So, yun. So, for everyone na coming from JavaScript and Node.js background, so yun, super familiar kayo sa npm and then, yun, meron din tayong mga .TypeScript na file extensions dito for the scripts and, it also supports, .js file extension. So, super useful siya in creating test and kung mapapansin niyo, familiar din 'tong, code block na 'to para sa mga, devs or, anyone coming from, JavaScript or Node.js, um, technology. But yun, for now hindi natin sila kailangan and then including yung mga naka-predefined or naka-pre-store na smart contracts dito. And in the meantime, pwede natin silang i-delete muna. So delete lang natin para hindi na kayo malito. Delete item. Okay. So isa-isa ko lang. Ayun. So, yun. Dito sa contract, so yun, pwede na contracts folder, dito natin isi-save yung smart contract na gagawin natin. And from this point, pwede na tayo mag-start. So, kung makikita nyo, dito sa slide natin, meron tayong initial smart contract and um, that initial smart contract is, ito yung mismong smart contract na bubuuin natin and ang file name niya is letter.sol. So, kung magtataka kayo kung ano yung .sol na extension, ito yung file extension for Solidity. So, basically, in Ethereum Virtual Network or sa buong EVM environment, uh, Solidity yung preferred way in building a smart contract. So Solidity is another programming language na statically typed language. So kapag sinabi natin statically typed, so para siyang isipin nyo TypeScript na or any programming languages like Java, since object-oriented din yung Solidity. So from here, mapapansin nyo na kapag gagawa tayo ng variable, kailangan natin i-define yung type ng variable, kung string ba siya. So on line 7, nag-declare tayo dito ng variable na message and ang type niya is string. And then magtataka kayo, meron din public. So meaning ito yung visibility niya all throughout sa buong contract and then overall sa EVM environment. So yun. So bale ito yung magiging starter file natin and we strongly recommend that everyone is kopyahin tong code na to or kung wala pa pwede nating sabay-sabay na i-code to. So yun. So to do that yun pala. So baka magtaka kayo kung paano siya i-code. So I think meron tayong GitHub gist dito. Okay, teka lang Hmm, ayun, paste ko lang 'tong gist na 'to from GitHub. So, pwede niyong i-copy na lang 'tong code na 'to, yung initial, yung letter.sol and let's try to jump uh, on each line. So, yan. To do that, so create lang ako ng new file and then the file name is letter.sol. Okay? And then from the GitHub list na pinaste natin um, sa chat. So, kopyahin lang natin to. Okay? So, kopyahin lang natin tong initial template na to. And yan, kapag nag-paste pala kayo, may mapapansin kayong ganitong modal message. So, yun. Meron lang ano dito, explanation, pero kahit i-ignore nyo na siya in the meantime, pero we suggest na moving forward as you build your experience in coding sa Remix. So, yun, basahin natin. And click OK lang. And yun. So, ito na yung initial smart contract natin. So, this smart contract, so gaya nga ng intro natin kanina, this is a letter contract. So, ang nangyayari dito is ang objective is makapag-save tayo ng string or message sa blockchain and then ma-retrieve din natin yung sinave natin na string na yun. And kung mapapansin nyo dito sa line 18, may nakalagay dito na paste the save message function here. So, itong function na to is bubuuin natin And, nandito na rin sa gist yung, code niya, pero yun, explain pa natin further. So, this is a running smart contract already, pero ang ginagawa lang niya ngayon is, mababasa lang niya yung message. Puwede niyang ibigay sa'tin, i-return yung message, pero since wala pa tayong nilagay na message, so ang ilalagay lang niya na ang ire-return lang sa'tin nitong contract na 'to is either I think zero yata or empty string. So yun, parang zero I think yung ibibigay kasi parang yun yung parang kung sa JavaScript is parang undefined value or default value. Pero, in the meantime, hindi pa tayo makakapag-save ng message dito. So, before natin i-explain, line by line yung code, meron bang may mga question dito? Ayan, sige. Sabi ni Jiro, hindi na daw rumor yung price. So, yun, totoo na. Ayun, thank you, Jiro. And, yan, nagta-type si Isabel, pero from the team ba, meron bang may question? Sa mga nakaka-follow, press 1. Alright, nice. Ayan, nice, nice. Ayun, dami pa naman nakaka-follow. Okay, sige. Hintayin lang natin si Code, Claude, and The Alchemist. Yun, kaka-join lang. Sige, okay lang, okay lang. Sige. Ayun, okey naman. So sige, explain lang natin further. So yun, sa smart contract natin, kung mapapansin niyo, meron ditong, double forward slash and tama kayo kung yun yung una niyong naisip, this is a comment. So comment 'tong line number 1 na 'to. So in Solidity, yung forward slash, dalawang forward slash is, comment din. Same with JavaScript or any language, yun. Or JavaScript lang yung alam ko. Ayun, so tama, comment 'to and, this is, ano bang kino-comment natin dito? So, kino-comment natin dito yung string na 'to, yung stdx-license. So, um, nare-require 'tong, line na 'to, in Solidity kasi hindi naman required na i-declare natin kung ano yung, level of license ng smart contract natin. Pero merong mga, for transparency and lalo na kung gusto nating, um, maging collaborative yung code natin unang-una and then at the same time yung program or smart contract na gagawin natin sa blockchain is, kailangan nating i-declare yung, type of, license niya. And, by default, MIT na lang yung nilagay natin pero um madaming options ng license identifier and, yun, ah, from from the JavaScript side or anyone na nag-e-NPM or into open source, coding. So, I believe familiar kayo dito kasi, minsan may mga open source project na kailangan nilang i-declare yung, ah, license identity nila. For us, para alam din ng mga private companies or other individuals kung to what extent nila, ira-run yung code. Lalo na kung community developed 'to and yung ibang mga smart contracts or programs out there in GitHub kasi is, proprietary, tama ba? Proprietary, code. So meaning, yung iba is, cannot be used by the general public or entirely na yung company lang nila yung puwedeng gumamit ng source code na yun. So yun, gano'n din yung idea dito sa smart contract na 'to and sa Solidity overall. So kailangan nating i-declare yung, license, type ng smart contract natin. And then line number 3 mapapansin niyo na meron ditong pragma and Solidity and merong version number. So itong, number na 'to is version number. So, specifically compiler version. So, dine-declare lang natin dito kung ano yung, version ng compiler na puwedeng mag-run ng smart contract na 'to. And for this specific contract, ini-specify natin na 8.19 yung pinaka-base ng compiler version na puwede mag-run nito and above. So, any compiler less than 8.19, so hindi magko-compile ng successful yung smart contract na 'to. And then next one is, line number 5, meron ditong contract letter. So contract, same with Pragma and Solidity, contract is also a reserved word in Solidity. Sinabi nating reserved words sa programming in general, yung mga word na yan is, hindi puwede gamitin ng developer like hindi niya puwede gamitin as variable name or any for any methods kasi yung, reserved word na yun is merong, specific meaning and function for the entire, ecosystem ng programming language. And, for line 5, dine-declare natin dito na ito na yung beginning ng contract natin. We are creating a contract named letter. So yun, for the sake of this tutorial, so, tinawag lang nating letter yung contract na 'to, pero in any case puwede natin 'tong, baguhin yung letter. Like for example, message, puwede natin sabihin contract message or anything. Pero letter lang muna para may praise tayo kay Jiro, ayun. And then next one, line number 6 and 7. So line number 6 and 7 is variable declaration. So kapag sinabi nating variable declaration, so nagbi-build na tayo dito ng initial state. So initial state, same lang din sa other programming language. So, nag-i-initialize lang tayo ng global variable. And for this one, nag-set tayo ng variable owner and then variable message. And yun, gaya ng nasabi natin kanina, sa Solidity, kailangan muna nating i-define yung pangalan, ay yung type ng variable, and then yung visibility ng variable, and tsaka yung, variable name. So for this one, sinasabi natin na yung type ng variable na 'to is address. So yun, isa sa mga data types ng Solidity is address and string, and madami pa. Meron ding numbers, or kapag numbers sa kanila is madami, merong uint 256 or yun, madami. Yan, puwede nating mag-go through yan sa mga susunod na workshop. Pero for now, kailangan lang muna natin ng address data type and string data type, and parehas sila naka-public. So meaning, they can be called by other smart contract, and yung value nila will be available globally sa blockchain. So yun. Ayun, heads up lang din pala, possible din sa Solidity yung, mag-call ka ng one contract, to another. So, isipin niyo na lang parang nag-import ka ng npm module from the JavaScript people, nag-import ka ng npm module, and then, ah, ine-execute mo ngayon lahat ng function available for that, um, npm module. So, yun yung parang concept ng, kapag ginawa nating public yung, isang method or variable. Ayun, and then, nakaka-follow pa ba? Meron ba yung mga question? Ayun, so sabi dito ni Code Claude, so modifier is the method for the contract like method in class. Yun, magandang question, Code Claude. So, yan, sige, pasadahan natin mamaya yung modifier. Sige. Yun. So, for the constructor, so same lang din with other languages ata, at least from the JS. So, yun. JS lang talaga yung mapagkukumparahan ko for now. So, yung constructor is dito natin sineset lahat ng mga functions na gusto nating mag-run or tumakbo as soon as ma-deploy yung smart contract. So, from this, ang ginagawa natin is, yung variable owner, ina-assignan natin siya ng message.sender. So magtataka kayo, saan nanggaling yung message.sender? Yung message is, reserved word din sa Solidity na object, object siya. Yun, tama ba? Object, yun. Object siya and, meron siyang property na sender. So, kapag sinasabi natin kung sino man yung mag-deploy ng smart contract na 'to, siya na yung iko-consider as owner nitong buong smart contract. Yun lang. And then next is meron tayong modifier dito. So yun, inline sa question ni Code Claude. So modifier, kapag sinabi nating modifier in Solidity, ito yung naglalagay tayo ng safeguard. Overall, ang tawag sa kanya is function modifier. So, naglalagay lang tayo ng safeguard or parang restriction kung paano i-run yung isang function. And ang nilalagay natin na restriction dito is merong require, which is parang validation, validation way sa Solidity na minimake sure natin na yung message that sender is equals to owner. So mamaya gagamitin natin tong only owner na function modifier. And yun. So if ever na mag-fail sila sa validation na to, ibabato natin tong error message na to. So yun lang. So yun lang yung short description nung short explanation nitong initial smart contract natin. And yun, hopefully walang question. Meron ba? Paano po i-compute yung gas fee sa line 9? Okay, so line 9, ayun, sige. Mamaya, balikan ka namin dyan, Blue Marco. And yun. So, ang next step natin ngayon is i-complete natin tong smart contract na to. Maglagay tayo ng function to save a message. And to do that, pwedeng burahin na natin tong line na to. Or sige, dyan na lang para masabayan nyo rin. And from here sa gist na to na sinend natin kanina, kopyahin nyo lang yung function dito and just paste it. Yon. And there you go. So, yun. Sinave na natin yung in-enter na natin yung save message function. And ayun. So, ano bang ginagawa nito? So, from here, in-enable natin or binigyan natin yung ng capability yung smart contract natin na mag-save ng message. And it accepts parameter which is a string and your message. Ito yung variable, temporary variable name or parameter na placeholder ng message na ilalagay mo. And then, nakalagay dito na string yung type nung i-enter, ipapass natin na parameter sa save message. And then memory kung saan mo muna gusto i-save. So sa mga susunod na workshop natin, pwede natin mapasadahan tong memory. Pero in the meantime, so ang gist lang dito is gumagawa tayo ng temporary storage para do sa message na gusto nating i-save. And then, naka-public yung function na to, meaning other smart contracts can call or can use this function and then viewable din in public yung message na to. But at the same time, pinapasa natin dito yung only owner na function modifier. So kapag sinabi nating pinas natin yung function modifier na only owner, meaning base kung ano yung rule na nilagay natin sa modifier, which is kung itatranslate natin dito na ang gusto natin mangyari is yung magra-run nitong save message function na to is yung message that sender lang or yung owner. Yun. So, meaning kahit publicly available tong variable or tong function na to, hindi pa rin mararan ng kahit na sino except the owner yung message na to. So, meaning yung owner lang ng smart contract na to or yung nag-deploy, yung makakapag-save ng message. makakapag-store ng message. And, yun lang. So, kumpleto na yung smart contract natin. So, na-set up na natin yung mga initial data state. Meron na tayong constructor, function modifier, and function to update yung, message variable natin. So, meron bang may question? Wala pa naman? Okay, sige. Ayun. So, ang next step natin, so ano bang nasa slide? Sabi sa slide, so tapos na tayo diyan and eto na yung save message function. So yun, sa mga hindi nakahabol puwede niyo na lang i-check yung, save message function na 'to, yung mismong code sa GitHub gist na pinaste natin kanina. And then next step is pupunta na tayo sa compiling, deployment, and verification ng smart contract. So in compiling, so sabi dun meron daw ganitong tab sa Remix na compile letter SOL na button. So puntahan natin yon. So save natin yung smart contract natin and, yun naka-auto compile kasi ako kaya mapapansin niyo may, green check na dito. Pero if ever na hindi naka-auto yung sa inyo, save niyo lang yung smart contract niyo and click compile. So what's going on here is, itong mismong code natin is kino-compile na siya into application binary interface or ABI. So, by default kasi like any other programming languages, yung mga blocks natin sa blockchain ay hindi nila naiintindihan 'tong Solidity kaya kailangan i-compile into ABI form. So, yun yung nangyayari in the background. So, pagka-compile natin na yan, ah, kapag nag-success yung compilation, makikita niyo yung green check dito sa may left side. So, hopefully ganun din sa inyo, meron ding green check. So, for those, okay. So, madami pa naman nakaka-follow. Nice. So, yun yung way of compiling natin. So, automated naman na siya, bahala na yung Remix mag-compile. And then next one is ide-deploy na natin yung smart contract natin. So, for the deployment, so, mapapansin niyo dito merong tab na 'to, yung icon ng Ethereum. So, click niyo lang 'yan and, meron ditong, environment part. So dito sa environment part na 'to, dito na yung ide-deploy natin yung smart contract na 'to using our wallet address. Itong wallet address na 'to. So, by default, yung environment is naka-Remix VM Cancun, pero dapat meron ditong, makikita niyo dapat dito yung injected provider, MetaMask. Pero sa end ko wala siya kasi meaning na-install na na-open ko na yung MetaMask, before ako mag-install na-open ko na yung Remix before ako mag-install ng MetaMask. So, gagawin ko is, re-refresh ko lang 'tong page na 'to. So, don't worry naman, puwede niyong kopyahin 'to or kapag na-refresh niyo naman 'tong page na 'to, nandito pa rin 'to, yung code natin since, sine-save ni-remix into local storage yung mga codes natin. Then balikan niyo lang yung contracts folder niyo, then letter.sol. And then save lang. So kung mapapansin niyo din dito sa contracts folder natin, merong artifacts folder na na-create. So during compilation, kapag completed na yung compilation, so nagkakaroon ng artifacts folder and dito na nako-compile itong Solidity code natin into blockchain, readable data. So magkakaroon yan ng metadata dito and other JSON, information or ito na yung tinatawag nating ABI or Application Binary Interface. Pero for now, focus lang tayo dito sa, deployment natin. So sa letter.sol, pwede na tayong bumalik dito ulit sa deploy tab and click natin yung environment. Makikita niyo na ngayon yung injected provider dash MetaMask. So click lang natin 'yan and, at first magti-trigger 'yan ng, MetaMask wallet pop-up. So click niyo lang yung account na gagamitin niyo, then click next, confirm, ayun. So, once all set, so makikita niyo dito na yung account is same dapat dito sa wallet address yung sa MetaMask, which is parehas naman silang 176B. And yun, kung madami kayong account, pwede rin kayong mag-switch. So yun, nakakasabay pa ba lahat doon? Okay. Okay, sige. Okay, nakakasabay pa naman. So yun, mapapansin nyo rin na madaming mga UIs dito sa bandang baba. By default, naka-pre-selected na dito yung letter.sol natin. And once everything is all good na, feeling nyo ready na kayo mag-deploy. So, click nyo lang yung deploy. Okay? Ready na ba lahat? Okay, ready na si Sophia, Spotify, MarkMed, The Alchemist, and si Gian. So, alright. So, ito na yun. Click natin yung deploy. So, as soon as na-click natin yung deploy, so mapapansin nyo na merong MetaMask prompt dito. So, nag-a-ask lang ng permission yung MetaMask kung papayag ba tayo na i-deploy yung smart contract na to from Remix. So mapapansin nyo dito yung kung sino yung site na nag-request. And then dito, pwede natin i-confirm pero meron lang mga important data dito. So sabi niya dito, in order to complete this deployment, so kailangan natin magbayad ng gantong amount ng Ethereum, which is this one. So, yun, nagbabago from time to time, depende sa gas computation. Yun, may nagtanong kanina about gas computation. So, to answer that, MetaMask na muna yung nagka-calculate ng gas fee para sa atin. Pero in more advanced smart contracts development, pwede tayo mag-specify kung hanggang saan lang yung gas fee na gusto nating bayaran. And yun, since madami naman tayong pera sa wallet natin, yun, madami. So, click confirm lang. And maglo-load lang yan. In the meantime, so meron ditong tab. And as soon as makomplete yung transaction, makikita nyo na may pop-up dito. And meron ding dun sa may console, dito sa console, merong message na check, green check. And kapag click natin yung kanina, sabi ito is success in deployment natin. And this page pala, ang tawag dito is Etherscan. So Etherscan pero for Sepolia or for test network lang. So makikita natin dito na success yung transaction natin and ito yung address na nag-deploy which is yung wallet natin and ito yung na-assign ngayon na contract address para do sa contract na dineploy natin. So by default, EVM na yung nag-a-assign ng address para do sa mga dineploy natin na smart contract. And kung i-click natin yung address na yon, makikita natin dito yung transaction history kung ano nangyari. So 1 minute ago, which is tama naman, dineploy natin yung contract na yon. And makikita nyo yung other relevant information about that like transaction fee and yung amount, kahit ignore nyo na yan muna, and yung transaction hash. So, same lang ba? Lahat ba successfully nakapag-deploy? So, sabi ni Alchemy, hindi lumabas yung pop-up. So, yun. Kay Blue Marco, tama yan. So, para kay D Alchemist, so make sure mo muna, sir, na connected ka using injected provider. So, kapag nakapag-injected provider ka, click mo lang yung deploy or click mo rin dito yung MetaMask icon mo kasi minsan meron diyang mga pop-up na pending. So, minsan may naka-notify na or may naka-pop dyan na number 1 or number 2. Depende. Hindi po. Yung screen share nyo. Tama ba? Kita pa ba yung screen share ko? Hindi nyo nakita na nag-pop yung MetaMask sa screen sharing ko. I see. Ayun, yun pala. So, I think baka limitation siguro yon ng screen sharing natin. Pero Tama, by default naman, as soon as mag-click tayo ng deploy, merong MetaMask pop-up na lalabas. And i-confirm lang natin yon. And once the deployment is successful, so makikita nyo yung transaction page nun. So yun. Kapag successfully na na-deploy natin yung contract, ang mangyayari is dito sa may bandang baba nyo ng Remix, meron kayong makikita ditong tab, pero na-save ko kasi, pero ayan. So meron kayo dito makikitang deployed or unpinned contracts. So anong meron dito? So pwede na natin i-test yung ating smart contract na ginawa. So next step is um, ayun, before natin i-test pala, i-verify muna natin yung smart contract. So kapag sinabi nating verify, meaning gusto natin na magkaroon ng green check dito sa contract natin. So very important yung verification process in smart contract overall. Ito yung isang process para ma-maintain yung integrity ng smart contract. So, yun, pwede tayong mag-deep dive about dyan sa mga susunod na session natin. Pero, isa ding feature kapag verified yung smart contract natin is pwede tayong makapag-interact, pwede tayong makapag-save ng message directly here from the Etherscan, basahin yung laman ng message. So, yun. Pero at this point, so since hindi pa verified yung contract natin, um, hindi pa tayo allowed for that. So to do that, ang gawin natin is dito sa plugin manager sa may lower left ng Remix natin, click natin yung plugin manager and then sa may search, type lang natin yung verification. Yan, verification. And then click nyo tong i-activate nyo tong contract verification dash Etherscan. Activate lang natin yan. And kung mapapansin nyo, magkakaroon yan ng icon dito na contract verification. Itong icon na to, parang building. Click nyo lang yan and mag-a-ask yan ng API key. Pero for now, may ibibigay tayong API key. So, paste ko lang dito. Yan, tama. Sir Gian, tama. Thank you. And yan yung itong API key na to, ito yung isuklay natin dito sa API key. Then, click save. So, yun. If all goes well, makikita na natin tong page na to or tong view na to. And, pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa verification. So, wala namang question, no? Okay naman. Sige. So, click lang tayo ng contract na i-verify natin. So, click natin yung letter, then yung contract address. So, nasan yung contract address natin? So, for that one, makikita nyo siya dito sa part na to. Kapag kinlik nyo yung transaction page, then yung itong 2 na to, click nyo lang yan. Or pwede nga, copy nyo na lang yan eh. Tapos, i-paste nyo lang yan dito. Yan. And other way din para makuha yung deployment address nyo is dito yung console nyo kanina, um, expand nyo lang to. And then, copy nyo lang tong contract address na to. So, yun. And then, click verify. And if all goes well, makikita nyo tong message na to. And standard message lang siya. So, kaya kapag bumalik tayo dito sa contracts page natin, kapag na-refresh natin, makikita nyo yung contract natin is may green check na. And then, makikita nyo rin na kung ano yung code natin sa Remix, meron siyang code tab. Nandito yung code na nilagay natin. Yan. And then, other information and ABI. Yan. And then, meron ditong read contract. So, ito yung mga available na variables na pwede nating basahin, which is ito yung dineclare natin kanina publicly sa code, which is yung address and then itong owner and then message. And then write contract, isa lang to dapat which is yung save message. Since public yung save message natin, so available siya for anyone. So pwedeng makita ng iba to and pero ang makakapag-run lang talaga is yung nag-deploy ng smart contract. So yun. Next part is testing. So testing. So ito-test na natin yung dineploy natin na smart contract. Dito na papasok yung um, magsasubmit tayo ng message and i-check natin ngayon kung yung message na yun is na-save ba. Alright? So before we proceed, may question ba? Alright, tama. Thanks, Sir Gian. Tama yan. And kay Blue Marco, nice one. Ayun, success. Alright. So yun, next is for the testing. Kung babalik tayo dito sa deploy and run transaction natin na tab, makikita nyo dito sa under deployed and pinned contracts. So merong tatlong buttons. So mapapansin nyo, pwede natin i-expand and i-expand pa to. Meron ditong field na nakalagay your message. And yung your message na yun is yun yung ginawa nating parameter sa save message function. So nakalagay na rin kung ano yung ina-expect niya na data type which is string. So yun, pwede na tayo mag-type ng message dito. And meron din ditong mapapansin yung may button pero wala silang field. That is because ito yung mga public variables natin and they are read-only variables kaya hindi na or hindi sila function din kaya wala silang field. So pwede natin i-call tong message. Yan. So kapag kinall natin yung message, so yun, tama, zero and string. Since wala pa tayong nasasubmit na message, zero pa to. Pero pag kinlik natin yung owner, ang ginagawa niya is nare-return niya ngayon kung ano yung address ng owner itong smart contract na to or kung sino yung nag-deploy. Siya yung dineclare natin dito sa constructor. And yun lang. So let's proceed na sa pag-submit ng message. So to submit a message, so eto, pwede natin gayahin tong part na to. So pwede kayo mag-input ng message, pero dapat yung message nyo is enclosed sa loob ng open and quote parentheses. So sabi natin kanina, message or parang ano to, gratitude message nyo for someone. So yun, pwede kayong mag-input ng mga messages nyo muna. And yun, so ako din mag-enter din ako ng message ko ngayon. So to do that, so gawa muna ako ng open parenthesis. So type ko lang yung message ko. Thank you, FWDP and DevOps for an awesome workshop. So yun, pinangunahan ko na awesome yung workshop natin. Alright, so yan, nakapag-type na ba yung lahat? So sabay-sabay tayong i-click yung transact or deploy. Pero kung na-click nyo na, okay lang. So yun, tama. Tama si Isabel. So sabi niya yung message na ilalagay nyo will be forever stored in the blockchain. So kaya gandahan nyo na yung message nyo. Kasi pwede natin to ipakita sa kanila. Pwede nyong ipakita yan sa kanila. Bigay nyo lang yung link for that message. Kaya gandahan nyo na. Ayun. So for now, text lang yung malalagay natin. So wala pa tong mga images. Pero pwede natin i-tackle yan sa mga advanced workshops natin. So yun. Hopefully lahat is nakapaglagay na ng message. Pero kung hindi pa, okay lang. Pwede nyo mabago yung message nyo. Itong message na to from time to time. Ayan. Pero for a certain transaction, kumbaga sa unang submit nyo, yun na yung message na yun. And sa next submit nyo, pwede nyo na siyang mabago. So, yun, this will be saved forever nga, sabi ni Isabel, kaya gandahan na natin. And, if all is good na, click lang natin yung transact and, I think hindi niyo rin makikita pero as soon as ma-click niyo yung transact, lalabas yung MetaMask pop-up ulit. Confirm niyo lang yung message na yun and, 'yan naglo-load sa end ko, eto, pending and yun, meron na akong pop-up na completed na daw yung message. So, ang gagawin ko ngayon is, inopen ko yung message na yun. Puwede niyo i-open yung message na yun or yung transaction na yun, click niyo lang 'tong view on Etherscan and eto. So, success yung message. So, sabi niya dito, makikita niyo rin kung ano yung, kung ano yung idea about that particular transaction. So, sabi niya ang action dun is save message and, nag-save tayo ng message and then sinubmit natin yung message na yun sa smart contract na 'to and ang nag-submit is eto, yung wallet address natin. And dito sa may show more, 'pag kinlik niyo yung nasaan na yun? Eto, show more, sa more details, merong mga ano dito, merong mga information na kahit i-ignore niyo na muna in the meantime. Pero ang pinaka-importante dito is yung input data. So, dito sa input data, madaming series of string na hindi natin nauunawaan as human, pero pwede natin i-decode 'yan. Click mo lang yung decode and makikita mo na yung message mo, ang laman nun is string and, this is the message. So 'yan, thank you FWDP and DevOps team, alright? And, at the same time, puwede tayo bumalik sa remix. So, kung matatandaan niyo dito sa deploy and run transactions tab, merong mga, ah, ano dito, variables and buttons. Puwede na natin i-click 'tong message. Kapag, kinlik natin yung message, automatically on the background, fine-fetch ng Remix yung data na na-store sa blockchain. And, yung message na yun is, dini-display niya dito. So yun, yun yung isa sa mga way para mag-interact tayo sa smart contract. And meron din isang way which is puwede tayong bumalik dito sa, contracts page natin. Click lang natin 'tong contract tab, then read contract and, message. Click niyo lang 'yan. Thank you. 'Yan, nandito yung message. And at the same time, meron din ditong write contract. Puwede kayong mag-submit ng, another message dito. Click niyo lang yung connect to Web3. Okay, then MetaMask and next, confirm. Ayan, hopefully nasasabayan niyo pa then, click kayo ng or type in lang kayo ng another message like, ah, sabihin na lang natin, "Thank you and good night." Yan, baka may inaantok na kasi. So, yan. And same thing, kailangan lang din natin i-enclose yung message into parentheses. So, click right. So, same lang sila ng behavior from the remix. Nakikita naman 'no, sa share screen. Hindi nakikita yung MetaMask pop-up. So, click confirm lang and as soon as ma-click niyo yung confirm, nasaan na yan, okey, loading lang sa end ko. Confirm, ayun. So, loading lang 'to kapag ganito, pero puwede mo i-click 'tong view your transaction. Sige, hintayin lang natin. Ayun, minsan kailangan lang din i-refresh. So, just to give you an idea, so kaya naglo-load 'to kasi, yung mga block within the EVM, so, hinihintay natin na merong isang block dun or sabihin natin isang computer na pick upin 'tong request na 'to at gawin yung request natin na 'to. So, mukhang completed na, ayun. So, success. So, pwede tayong bumalik dito sa read contract ulit and, sige kailangan natin 'to i-refresh and balik tayo sa read contract kahit 'wag na tayong mag-connect to Web3 pero click lang natin yung message, yun. Makikita niyo na updated na yung message na 'to and same thing kapag bumalik tayo ng remix, kapag kinlik natin yung message, yun, napalitan na rin siya. Ayun. So, may question ba? Lahat ba is okey naman? So yun, Blue Marco, galing. So yes, tama, all fetches are free. So lahat ng, read request natin sa blockchain are all free, maliban na lang kung merong, naka-specify na mga rules. Pero by default, lahat ng read transactions are all free. Ang may bayad lang is kapag ah magkakaroon ng mga data changes or state changes. Like for example, yun nag-submit tayo ng, new message, binago natin yung, value ng isang variable from number one ang value ginawa nating number two, yun. Yun yung may mga bayad. And ang ginagamit natin na pambayad dun is yung hiningi natin kanina na test Ethereum, currency, yung na-request natin sa mga faucet. And, looks like lahat is nakasabay naman and yun tama, with Isabel. So EVM is Ethereum Virtual Machine and yun sabi sabi ni Blue Marco wala po yun tama, yes, walang bayad sa gas for read message. And Gian, congrats. So yun lang, hopefully nakasabay yung iba and what's next ba? So, submit a message, reading a message. Ayun, may bonus activity. May bonus activity. So, dun sa mga nakasabay, and hopefully lahat nakasabay, so pwede nyo ba kaming mabigyan ng ano, ng link, ng deployment link nyo, ng contract nyo, and then, yun, ife-fetch namin yung message nyo. So, yun. Before kasi initially ang approach namin dito is pwede kayong magsalita. Pero I think pwede rin magsalita, David, no? Yung kung sino man yung pwedeng gusto mag-share ng deployment link nila. And explain nyo lang kung ano yung message nyo, kung para kanino. Since ang idea natin is gratitude message siya. So, kanino tayo nagpapasalamat or para kanino ba yung message natin? Meron bang gustong mag-share? Si Gian ba? Go, Gian. Yun, tama. Para kanino ka bumabangon. So, yun, kung para sa kanya yung message mo, pwede mo ba ma-share yung link? And if you could also speak kung kahawig mo na si Unbox Diaries. So, si Gian ba? Kahawig niya? Sorry. Ayun. So, si Gian, go na ba? Ayun. So, si The Alchemist. So, sige, check natin yung sa'yo. Baka, and, yun. Pwede ba natin mabigyan ng access si The Alchemist para ma-share yung message niya? Ayun. So, sa transaction na to, sabi niya, hey, you'll be great someday. Yun. Nice. Napaka-sweet. Para kanino ba to, The Alchemist? Sa lahat ng bumabangon. Nice. Oo, tama. So, for everyone to. So, yun. Um, Yan, napaka-inspiring, 'di ba? So, yan, tandaan niyo yung araw na 'to, sabi ni The Alchemist, yun, "We will be all great someday." Nice, ayun, nice one. And, ano na bang next? So yun. So yun lang, nakapag-present na si The Alchemist. Meron pa ba? Meron pa bang may gustong mag-share? Ayun, so si Mark Me. Ayun, sana tama yung pronunciation ko. So yun. So ito yung message niya. Thank you sa pag-introduce Beatskwela. Hehe. Paano yung hehe mo? May sample ba? May video ka ba nung paano yung hehe mo? Ayun, nice. Alright, sige. Meron pa ba? Meron pang gustong humabol? Nice, ayun, hehe. Alright, sige. If wala na, proceed tayo sa next step natin. I think patapos na rin tayo and yun lang. So, thank you very much sa pag-participate ng lahat, lalo na sa FWDP team and sa lahat ng mga na-invite din. And for us din, ang plan din namin is to issue you a certificate. So this certificate um, signifies na na-complete niyo yung workshop na to and as a way din para magpasalamat din kami sa effort niyo to attend this workshop. So, for us to create certificate for you, so send lang kayo ng email dito sa bitskwela@gmail.com and send lang kayo ng email dito sa email address na 'to and pa-link na lang yung link niyo, yung deployment message niyo. And yun din, pwede niyo rin i-share sa social media, gamitin niyo lang yung hashtag natin na #DevUp. So kasama yung exclamation point. So di ko lang sure kung made-detect yun as hashtag pero kasama niyo na. And mas maganda rin na i-share niyo sa social media yung message niyo and tag niyo yung mga loved ones niyo and yung kung para kanino man yung message na yun and tag niyo rin yung mga socials ng DevUp. And huwag kalimutan na to claim your certificate. So ah, send us a message lang dito sa email address na 'to. So screenshot ko lang 'to then paste ko here. Ayun. And next is tama sabi ni David. So share niyo lang din sa FB group natin sa FWDP and yung FWDP page and yung hashtag natin. Huwag kakalimutan. And next is ano na tayo, fireside chat na for the team. So ayun lang, pero before that, ayun, thank you very much, David, sa platform na 'to and ayun, with the Beat Eskwela and DevUp team them, we're very grateful for this opportunity and for everyone din na nag-participate and nakinig. And balik na namin sa iyo yung floor, David, para sa fireside chat naman natin. Thank you very much. Baka naka-mute si founder.
Hey guys! So, ayan, na-disconnect lang ako kanina. So, congratulations everyone for completing the the workshop with Bitsquela, particularly with Colleen, no? So this is a start, no, for our community that is aggressively expanding to Web3. Most especially since historically, we started as a Web2 community. So yan. So to further our discussion, no, so let's now discuss career opportunities for Web3 developers. So I'd like to call on stage sina, I think, Theo, no? Theo, Jiro, of course, si Isabel. Ayan. And before all of that, guys, so kindly, siguro, no, inom muna tayo ng tubig. Lalo sa mga nakasunod sa ating Isabel, kindly yan. All right. So let's start asking questions na, guys. So always remember. So as what we do, no, sa ating Night Shift Wednesdays, so kindly pass on our questions to side chat. Okay, in our side chat, it's an ask any question. So our our panelists right now from Escuela, they'll be so much happy, to answer questions from you guys. So, ayan. So,
Hello. I think disconnects David, but hey guys, evening, Jerry here from Bitsquela. And yeah, again, props and hats off kay Colleen. Thank you, brother, sa pagturo sa atin on how to code our first smart contract. Now, while David is disconnected muna, we're gonna start with the first question para sa kina Colleen, Theo, and Isabella. I'm curious like, before ba smart contracts, tsaka yung buong mundo ng Web3, no? Yung trabaho nyo before this industry? Like, were you a designer? Were you a part of a tech team,
ayan,
IT team?
medyo, ayun, no, hindi ata ako audible. May confirm pala, guys, kung narinig ako.
Yes, loud and clear, bro. Loud and clear.
Loud and clear, ayan. So, siguro for our first question, no? So, what are the career opportunities out there for Web3 devs?
Let's go to that question muna. Yeah, career opportunities for Theo, Colleen, or Isabella. Go ahead, guys. Start off muna with Isabella siguro. Isabella, what are your thoughts on this?
Actually, ganda ng question kasi daming career opportunities even those for those outside of developing in Web2. Basically, different kinds of career opportunities could be as basic as community moderators, social media managers, and even those with a Web2 background in cybersecurity. Some of them started as community moderators or social media managers in Web3. And then slowly making their way para while they're learning the new field, they're making an income.
All right. So thank you very much, Isabel. Meron pa bang sasagot from the panel?
Ako siguro. Since mostly, I think dev naman nandito. So mostly, sa mga devs, napakarami opportunities dito sa Web3, especially if you're a developer. Kasi we're actually the ones doing the products that are being built on Web3. And wala namang gagamitin yung tao if walang products na we build. So developers, napakarami opportunities dito. You just have to really learn your way and really learn the tech stack. Actually, you don't need mandami kasi misconception na kailangan marunong ka mag-Solidity, kailangan ka marunong ka mag-Rust or whatnot. Like, kailangan marunong ka ng blockchain development. No. For developers, marami ring roles like Web2 dito, may DevOps, may front-end. Same lang yan. Magkaiba lang ng tech stack na gamit and medyo magkaiba ng paradigm as what you saw earlier. So, same lang din ang opportunities but it's more in demand kasi mababa din yung supply ng developers. Like, think of it na less than 1% of the entire Web2 developers yung kayang mag-develop in Web3. Kasi yun nga, nakita nyo kanina, it's a very different paradigm. And very few yung willing matuto. So, I congratulate everyone here na you're taking, a step forward na to do this workshop and to really learn about Web3 because it's the future talaga. Ayan na, friend.
Yes, thank you Tio and Isabel. Ayun, just to add lang din sa akin. So tama, hindi lang naman more on technical din yung mga in-demand roles sa Web3 and then sa blockchain. So gaya ng nabanggit ni Isabel, yun, kailangan din natin ng mga community managers, ng mga community moderators, and then yung kung ano yung traditional na role sa existing Web2 or existing tech companies. So basically yung mga non or tech or business roles, definitely kailangan din natin sila dito sa Web3. And yun, in terms of technical din naman, so napakarami. Tama, agree ako sa naging comment nila Isabel and Tio. And we are also in the right time pa. Kumbaga parang hindi pa huli yung lahat. Sabi nila, yun nga, with the economy, with the market crash, too late na para mag-move into Web3. Pero, yun, the right time is always now. Yan. Yun lang. Thank you.
Alright. So habang nag-iisip pa ang FWD peers na mga itatanong, no? So, ayan. This is now your chance, lalo na sa ating community, no? We are primarily a Web2, no? We're starting to expand to Web3 since the start of the year. Okay, so, ayan. I have this second question for the panel. So, before smart contracts and the industry of blockchain, no? So, what were you guys doing in the field of IT? And siguro, let's start with Colleen siguro.
Ayun, thank you. So, yep, before Web3, smart contracts, or blockchain, actually, developer na rin ako before. So, nag-start lang yung journey ko sa Web3 and into blockchain last 2021. And before that, I'm already a front-end developer. And yun, front-end developer, and then later on nag-move into full stack and into cloud computing din before. And nung nalaman ko nga yung Web3 is slowly nag-move na rin ako. So kahit nasa Web3 na ako, nag-work na ako sa Web3, I'm still working sa Web2 side. I mean, yung permanent employment ko at that time is nasa Web2. And parang ginagawa ko lang before as part-time or parang hobby lang yung Web3. Yun, parang try lang gumawa ng mga something new, mga something na dApps, yun, mga decentralized apps. And yun, later on, okay na rin. So, nakahanap na rin ako ng group along the way na solely focus into building Web3 products.
Ayan. So, Theo, do you have an answer in mind?
Ako naman, I've been a software engineer kasi for 10 years. So, nag-start ako ng career ko 2015. Actually, full circle eh. Kasi in my first year, I've been an Android developer, yung as in Java. But I didn't like it. So, I switched to web development. Tapos yun, full stack, nag-PHP, nag-Laravel, nag-React, and so on. I've also built some browser extensions along the way. For 3 years, I've been doing that. So, full stack applications, browser extensions. And actually, I stumbled upon Web3 2017, but I actually start building on Web3 mga 2021, 2022. So yeah, before that, mostly full stack applications. And actually, in 2021, before I fully got into Web3, um, and until this year, I was with Accenture. We were building an AI app. So nasa AI din ako. Nasa AI side of things ako for the past years. So we were building this application that will be used for Accenture na hindi ko pala pwede discuss. Basta AI app siya. Ayun. So yeah, it's a full circle.
All right. So I would like to siguro no, let's read the question from the audience, no. So I'll start with Zaki's question, which might be the the question that our audience have in mind. So ang tanong ni Zaki, tanong ko lang po, ano po kaya pinaka real world application ng Web3? So Isabel, would you mind answering the question?
It's different for each country. Pero here in the Philippines, yung pinaka kailangan na application ng Web3 would be data privacy and immutability of the records that we have, because we have frequent breaches like sa PhilHealth, etc. And that's also something that if the government is already looking at. So maraming real-world applications ng Web3. It's just a matter of time kung kailan siya ma-apply. But essentially, we could think about it as kung ano man ang bagay na mayroong process or sistema, ito ay pwedeng i-improve at i-protect ng blockchain.
Okay, so how about Brother Giro? Ano raw ang mga real world application ng Web3?
Yeah, good question. When it comes to the Philippines, I'd say din remittances for sure. Isa sa mga proper top na real world applications no for crypto locally. Kasi I say that kasi as we all know, diba, napakaraming OFW sa Pilipinas. I mean, nagaling sa Pilipinas rather. Fun fact, 10% ng GDP natin is attributed to remittances actually, no? So pag send ng pera from the Philippines to abroad or from abroad to the Philippines, that makes up a huge chunk of the Philippines economy. Now, that's exactly why it presents a very big opportunity for crypto and blockchain, which it has been over the past few years, no? Kasi think about it. Kung mag-send ka ng pera from, let's say, Manila to Germany, sa akin tita, I would have to go to Western Union, mag-park pa ako dun sa mall, sa Ayala for example, SM, tapos punta ako sa guard, sabi, oy boss, gusto mo pala ng pera, tapos mag-fill up ako ng form, magbabayad ako ng malaking fee, and then eventually, malalam ko lang na yung pera ko ay mapapadala in 2 to 3 working days yan. So wala siya na Sabado tsaka Linggo. Now, on the other hand, kung gawin tong prosesong ito through crypto and blockchain, ang kailangan ko lang ay aking telepono, Bitcoin, at saka internet, no? Tap, one send na yung pera ko from here to any part of the world with very small fees. That's exactly why din, medyo takot ang mga bangko sa Pilipinas o kaya yung mga remittance centers, no? Like Western Union, when it comes to crypto, in general, no, in any part of the world din actually, kasi especially in the Philippines, napakalaki ng market na pwedeng i-disrupt blockchain here locally. So ayun, no, this can be done actually right now with the use of different decentralized wallets, exchanges, o kung ano man. But yeah, that's a quick note lang from my end.
Okay, so we will entertain another question. Thank you very much, Giro and Isabel, for answering the question. So, itong tanong from SSH. Do you think po that Web3 can replace the current web platforms in the future, just like what Web2 did on Web1? So, Colleen, do you mind answer? Ay, Tio pala. Sorry.
Ako na ba? Sige. Quick answer lang for this. Yes, but it will take too long. Kasi imagine nyo, nitong recent na nangyari with Microsoft, Naalala niyo ba yun? Yung anong pangalan ng company na yun? Yung partner nila. So nag-down lahat, diba? Sa mga airports, banks and all. May mga hindi naapektuhan nun. Which is yung mga institution na gumagamit pa rin ng old Windows. Na, as in old na 2000s, 95. So meaning, at this age, 2024, some people are still using those technologies, those very old technologies. So, kahit sabihin natin napalitan na, like, we're in this different age right now. Actually, we're transitioning to Web3. It will happen, napapapalitan siya, pero it will take too long for like everyone to really replace. Kasi the question is replace eh. Yeah. And I think for the question here as well is like, mangyayari ba talaga yung mass adoption? I think, yes naman. But, think of it like, parang isipin nyo ngayon, 2024, it's like 1995, na parang ini-introduce parang yung internet. There will come a time, in 30 years' time, that the next generations will be the ones na will be onboarded, na parang natural lang yung Web3 sa kanila. Na parang hindi na pinag-uusapan what is ganito, what is ganyan. They're just using the apps. Na Web3 na pala yun. So yeah, the time will come, but it's not super near pa. Maybe in the next 30 to 40 years. But yeah, I think it will replace.
How about you, Colleen?
Yes, yun, same thoughts din kay Jiro. Yes, in the future, mare-replace ng Web3 yung Web2, lalo na kung papayag tayo mismo as developer. Kasi, yun nga, gaya ng sample ni Theo and Isabel, yung CrowdStrike and then yung PhilHealth data leaks. So, all of those problems can be solved if lahat ng mga data natin is centralized. So, kapag sinabi natin centralized, hindi si Amazon, hindi si Azure or si Google Cloud Platform yung ginagawa nating storage ng mga data natin. So, yun, yung nakita yung wallet natin kanina. So, pwedeng use case yun na lahat ng mga personal data natin or any data like finance data, personal data can be stored on that. Whereas, kapag hindi mo inallow yung isang website or company na i-access yung data na yun, is wala silang makukuhang access. And then, kapag pin-log out mo naman yung data mo, so wala rin silang makukuhang access. So, yun, that's the future na ini-envision ko kahit ako, and I believe everyone din sa Web3. So, kaya we are looking forward na ma-replace ng Web3 yung current state of Web2 natin. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you so much, Colleen. Ang daming magagandang tanong no sa ating side chat, grabe. So, unfortunately hindi natin masasagot lahat 'yan kasi ayun nga, pero good thing kasi we're connected with Bitsquela now, so you can ask them questions and they're here naman sa ating platform, or you can ask them naman, no. So, ito guys, I would read one last question siguro. So, may tanong si Gian, is it possible to work as a DApps developer on some companies here in the Philippines on the upcoming years? Ayan. So, ayan, Isabel?
Ayan, actually, what a fantastic question kasi this is actually the reason why Jiro had initiated the developer education here in the Philippines. Dahil wala pa tayong masyadong apps from the Philippines. We have a lot of users that are using apps from other countries, from India, from the US, even China. Pero sobrang konti pa lang ng apps based in the Philippines simply because we don't have a lot of Web3 developers. So hopefully, by stirring the conversation in a way like this, we get to encourage more builders to code decentralized applications as compared to Web2 based ones. Dahil if dumami yung mga builders natin, ma-encourage natin yung pinaka Web3 industry to grow even bigger kung mas maraming supply ng developers. To answer the question, not at the moment. There are very few the apps hiring devs. Although meron, pero hindi pa ganun kadami.
Okay, so thank you very much, Isabel, for that insightful answer. Ayan, so how about Jiro? Take it away, brother.
Sorry, nag-lag yung internet ko. Ano yung question ulit? Sorry.
Ayan. So the question again is from Gian, no? Is it possible daw to work as a DApps developer in some companies here in the Philippines on the upcoming years?
Good question. I think when it comes to working as a dev locally, I'm sure Colleen and Theo would have a better perspective. But from my end, no, the opportunities as a Philippine developer in Web3 are pretty big. Kasi competition-wise, locally, medyo relatively konti pa, no, yung nag-code dito from the Philippines. I only know a handful of developer friends, no, na marunong mag-code ng smart contract or mag-build ng D-app, no, on-chain as well. So, if you were to, Gian, if you were to learn this and be ahead of the curve, this could potentially put you kasi in a very good position, local and international wise. Kasi, fun fact, coming from like the Web 2 side ng mga VA, freelancers, the Philippines is naturally a source of talent, no? For other projects and companies, from worldwide. So, medyo hindi pa kilala yung Pilipinas for this, but it's something rising. Kasi we're from Asia, we have a lot of counterparts like Vietnam, India, na nag-outsource na maraming devs for Web3 tsaka crypto projects. And Philippines, uprising pa lang siya. So, I would suggest na if you want to explore it now. Kasi it would definitely put you ahead above the rest as well, locally. But yeah, hope that helps, Gian. And of course, send us a message lang if you want to learn more about this path. That's why we're here as a DevOps and Bitsquela to teach you guys how to enter the world of Web3.
Okay, thank you very much, brother Jiro. And we will entertain one more question from Mikey. How does Web3 enable decentralized finance, and what are the implications for traditional finance systems? Ayan, so Pauline, ayan, so what's your answer to that question?
All right, ayun, thank you. So how does enable decentralized finance? So um ayun, so recently alam ko meron din mga efforts yung government natin yan to build their own blockchain, but as for the specifics of that, I think yun, as far as I know, parang wala pang further details. Pero kung on my point of view kung paano ma-enable, so I guess um ah paano ba? So, actually yung traditional, finance natin ngayon, like for example, GCash, it actually works. But, the problem is that, um, since centralized yung data niya, so we need to do a series of cash in and cash out pa. Pero kung, we will apply the centralized approach on that, hindi na natin kailangan siguro kailangan pa rin natin mag-cash in ng a few amounts of Ethereum, and then from there easily pwede na natin ma-send yung mga funds or mga mga financial transactions natin from one account to another without also worrying yung number one, ako din personally kalaban ko din yung mga service fee or transaction fee when you transfer money from one bank to another. So kung mapapansin nyo, ang laki ng fee nila, pero kung i-convert natin yan in a decentralized way, kung napansin nyo kanina yung gas cost natin is 0.0 something lang. Possible ganun din yung cost ng transaction natin kapag um, um, magta-transfer tayo ng mga financial transaction in a decentralized way. And then, way pa para ma-enable is importante yung education din for everyone. So this kind of platform is very important para to educate yung mga developers and non-developers as well na hindi lang cryptocurrency ang blockchain, hindi lang tayo more on trading, kundi malaki din yung impact na pwede na magawa ng blockchain on the finance side. Like pwede tayo magkaroon ng decentralized insurance, something like that. And yung mga financial reports natin sa yun, examples company or sa government can be transparent and viewable to everyone. Kagaya kung paano natin pinresent kanina na yung transaction natin sa blockchain is viewable for everyone. Yun lang po.
Okay. So, ayan. Thank you very much, Bitsquela team, for answering the questions. So it's already 9:47 p.m. And ayan, no? So, kakakating pa lang ni Cobol and ni Cortizano.
Siguro si Theo and myself would like to add sa question na to if that's fine. Pretty exciting question kasi pinag-uusapan namin sa separate chat.
Alright, sige. So, GM, ayan, Theo, answer mo daw.
Answer ko lang yung question ng Mikey. Basahin ko lang ulit. How does Web3 enable decentralized finance and what are the implications for traditional finance systems? So currently kasi for context, I'm working at a DeFi company ngayon sa Solana. So in the essence of Web3 kasi, it's really giving the power back to the people, right? So it allows people to participate in any kinds of things in the internet na hindi possible with Web2 and not possible with traditional finance. So one example is what we're doing in our company. We are allowing you to participate or to put liquidity to tokens or to cryptocurrencies. And that's not possible if it's possible with traditional finance, the barrier to entry is so high, kailangan mo ng millions of dollars to participate. But the essence of Web3 is giving back the power to the people. You can participate on things like that in Web3, like investment vehicles or what. Na kahit wala kang at the comfort of your home, using mobile with just cents, like centavos, pwede ka mag-participate. So that's Web3. That's what Web3 is disrupting. It gives the people the power to participate in these things. Yeah, that's Marvin.
All right, thank you, Theo. How about you, Isabel?
Sabi ni Kobo, ano daw meaning ng GM? GM means good morning. It's one of the parang key words sa culture ng Web3. So what a fantastic question. And I guess the simple answer there is Web3 enables decentralized finance because of smart contracts, which is what we learned today through the help of Korean. And what this means is anyone from any country, any barangay with any idea can come up with any application and deploy it as a smart contract without asking for the permission of Google or Apple. And if it's a financial idea that will help a lot of underserved communities, like those that don't have access to banks, and you have an idea to come up with a local bank, pero it's on-chain, then right then and there, you can deploy a smart contract already. Now, how does this affect the TradFi system that we have now? They're currently shaking. Naggagahol sila sa oras ngayon. Nangangamba sila kasi there's a new shift in the economy that's happening, wherein developers have the upper hand compared to legislators, politicians, or even hedge brokers, financial guys. Nasa devs ngayon ang power kasi hindi naman lahat marunong mag-code. So TradFi is shaking because they know that a portion of the liquidity or yung capital na nasa TradFi, a portion of that will now go into this new industry. And that's the reason why they are regulating it. And that's also the reason why they now understand that this is a new asset class. It's digital assets, and it's not going away overnight. That's why you could also take your time in learning this because it's like learning a new language. Hindi mo siya kailangan biglayin, hindi mo kailangan lahatin in one day. And the industry is gonna be here to stay. So even if you put 5 minutes a day for it, 2 hours per day, you're still gonna be okay.
Okay, ayan. So, very much, Isabel, for that wonderful answer. Ayan. So, it's already 9:51 p.m. Okay. Okay, so okay, so meron mga bagong tanong. Saya ng chat. Yeah, daming good questions, no? So, okay, so, is US moving to decentralized finance? Ayan, and then, okay, may Lemon Tree just confirmation na po if tama understanding ko since every year madaming data breaches and most reason is nadadaan sa social engineering just like recent governments data breaches. Does Web3 since it's decentralized? Ayan, so siguro sasagutin na yata ng ano. Okay, merong isang question na sasagutin si Jiro na Poging Brother. Alright, so ayan, go ahead, brother, answer the question ni Die Chemist. Brother Jiro Pogi. Ayan, is US daw moving to decentralized finance? How does it affect us?
Yeah, good question, no? Based on what I know personally, parang hindi pa naman sobrang nag-move sa DeFi per se ang US as of current. Kasi right now, crypto doon ay nahihirapan pa rin intindihan ng mga legislations tsaka mga politicians there. No? So it's to be seen pa kung DeFi ay parang gumagalaw in that direction upward sa US. But what I can say though, US-wise, is regulations would ease up, assuming that we get a pro-crypto candidate this upcoming elections, no? Whether it's Kamala, Trump, or sinisa si Kennedy, right? Because from my research personally, all three are relatively more crypto open versus Biden. So wherever we land as a US president, we can expect some more leniency when it comes to crypto and blockchain in the US. Now, that will definitely affect us in the Philippines kasi ang Pilipinas, we closely follow kasi what the US does when it comes to laws and their regulations. No? So if the US has more leniency sa crypto tsaka blockchain, the Philippines will also follow suit. But of course, not to say, no, the Philippines has been open up din naman over the past year. No? For everyone's context, nag-launch ng private blockchain, actually, ng public and private blockchain, ang ating gobyerno. It is based on the Venom blockchain, I believe. Theo, correct me if I'm wrong, no? But it was the first blockchain the government backed as well. Tapos meron ding Republic Act 658, sorry, Isabela, pero baka mali numero ko. Pero basta may blockchain act po tayo na pinag-uusapan na rin sa Kongreso, no? Finally setting the rules and regulations para sa blockchain applications here in the Philippines. So, happy na say naman na gumagalaw tayo as a country sa pag-open sa crypto. Medyo bagal lang compared to others, but I say better late than never. But yun.
Right. Okay. So, ayan. Lalong dumadami yung questions sa side chat. Ayan. Meron na ngang magdi-DM kay Theo. Si Brother Abad 2.0. Okay. So, a few to close the event. So, di naman sa ating Discord event, no? So, feel free to approach them if you have questions sa blockchain, sa crypto. Ayan. And they'll be happy, to answer the questions that you have in our Discord server. And feel free din to send them a message. And for those who want to feel proud, sa mga outputs nila this Tuesday, kasi nga grabe, ang naunang event natin ay kay Acha Abe. So feel free to showcase that sa ating Facebook group at sa ating Today I Learned channel. So it's a day full of learnings, no? And as for the certificate, so of course, no, if you want to submit an output, it's not the end of the world, no, sa pagtanggap ng certificate, no. So, Brother Jiro, anong deadline natin? When's the deadline for submitting an output para sa para sa ating certificate na matanggap ng mga FWD peers?
Yeah, actually, wala naman strict deadline, no? But you could send it over by this end of week would be good para isang batch na yung pag-send namin mga certifications. Actually, kanina may nakuha na ako na email sa Gmail namin. So, congrats sa mga nakatapos na. And for those na gustong humabol, feel free to message us lang here sa Discord. Tapos, we can guide you through naman.
Yun, napakagandang news from tomorrow to the end of the week. Kasi nga, ang goal talaga ng Bitskwela FWD peers is for you to be informed, educated, and to be aware of the capabilities of Web3. Diba, guys, no? Especially Jiro, no? Yeah, so we will upload the this recording, no, on our YouTube channel. Okay, sa FWDP. And then, yun nga, you guys can follow the tutorial made by Colleen, no, live in our Facebook, in our Discord server. So thank you very much, Jean, for recording the session, and also Gian if you're recording. So thank you very much. And expect that it will be available tomorrow earliest. So sa lahat ng mga gusto, yung mga nauli rito, no, sa ating audience na gusto magkaroon ng DevOps certificate, gusto makapag-deploy ng smart contract, and who is also interested in what Ralph has sent in our side chat. So you're welcome, Ralph, no? So, feel free to spread the message sa mga kakilala nyo. Okay, sa GC, sa mga kaklase, sa Facebook group natin, sa Discord. Encourage them to take a look at the YouTube video that we will upload, no, sa ating YouTube channel. Okay? Para mailabas natin, no? And yeah, to spread the word about what Web3 can do, no? And para sa ganon, all together we will be Web3 devs as well. Alright? In a way, we're upskilling kasi we're basically from Web2 to Web3. Ayan, which is the mission right now, one of the missions right now of FWDP. That's why I partner with organizations like the very reputable Bitskwela. So maraming salamat, Bitskwela, and maraming salamat sa mga FWDP na pumunta ngayon online in spite of being a Tuesday. So, syempre, Tuesday is a weekday, right? Siguro, yung iba sa inyo, kakauwi lang sa trabaho, ganyan, and nakahabot sa fireside chat. So, maraming salamat for attending, and good thing na record siya so that it will be forever in the internet. Hindi lang siya exclusive session, but it will be, yeah, everything discussed, all the knowledge that is being discussed right now will be available in the public domain. All right. So thank you very much, Colleen, Theo, Isabel, and Jiro. So hopefully, we can have more collaborations soon. Because our missions are aligned when it comes to Web3. So maraming salamat, FWD peers and Bitskwela, for this wonderful event right now. All right. So thank you guys.
Salamat.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.